Greetings, Daily Goblins. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about something that I don't discuss a lot on YouTube, which is some of my favorite tools outside of like books and things like that. These are just some things that I use to inspire my games. I'm just going to go through a few of them real quick, starting with, you know, actually, you know what? I'm going to start with these because these are one of my favorite things right now. I might actually end up doing a dedicated video about these, but these are just dry erase index cards. I have a huge stack of them, and they are like infinitely usable at the table for all kinds of stuff. I originally got these as like magic card tokens, but I ended up using them more for D&D because I don't play as much Magic these days. But I'll just show you a few examples real quick. So one thing you can do with them is track initiative, right? Like we can take all of our friends here who are playing the game, Dan, Gwen, Matt, Pat, and then our goblins, and we can very carefully, shuffle these, except, probably do this without rubbing all of them like I just did. But, then we look and we go, all right, Matt, you're up. Your character goes first. We can also use it even on top of initiative to track things like how much damage a monster has taken. Where here our goblin boss is at 10 out of 10 HP. And what's great about these come with like a little dry erase, so I can literally just go, all right, you hit him for 2. Well, now he's 4 out of 6. And then either track initiative or like literally, there's so many things you can do. You can say like, this is going to be real bad. You are invisible. You can use this either as like a way to just hand this to the player and say like, hey, don't tell anyone this. Here's a little secret. Read this. Keep it to yourself. Or, you can use this as like a condition marker. Put it in front of that player and say like, hey, you're invisible right now, so that they don't forget. They just used a potion. They just got hit by like a random Wand of Wonder spell, right? Anyway, these things I find are infinitely usable at the table with this little pin. It's like real quick to just erase. You can, I also want to show off this, right? So one of the things I like to use them for is I play some games where I use Theater of the Mind, and I like to use my index cards from Index Card RPG. See if I can do this without hitting the camera. Which are a great resource, right? Like, Professor DM has a great video on Dungeon Craft where he takes miniatures and he literally just says like, okay, you walk into a dungeon door, you see this large rock, there's another door out, you see a waterfall, and in the middle there's this temple, maybe we're playing Sailors on the Starless Sea. And the players just choose, they say, all right, well, just pretend this is a mini because this is what I have. I want to go investigate that large monolith, right? So they literally just plop their miniature onto that thing and say, that's where I'm at in the room. It's a good way to kind of track combat Theater of the Mind with like some physical representation. I have a whole book of these. You can grab them really quick. But one thing I do is if I've flipped through all of my pages and I haven't found the right thing to use, right? I get to the end and I'm like, ah, crap. Well, it's not in here. Well, then I just grab one of these and I just say like, okay, well, there is an altar in this room, and I can either try to draw the altar, whatever, on like a raised dais. This is some Blue's Clues art right here, covered in cups. There's some cups all over this thing, or I just write altar on it. Boom, there you go. Now you don't have to spend a ton of time flipping through these, going like, I can't quite find the right thing for an altar. Nothing is working exactly how I want, so boom, there you go. Dry erase, and then, once that problem is solved, or, let's say some player, I'll just do the same thing. There's an altar, right? This is just an example. They throw an alchemist fire. Now the altar is on fire. Well, there you go. There's your little fiery altar covered in explosive cups. Now you have a way to track that. These things are just so usable for so many different situations. Condition markers, bonuses. You can say like, hey, you know what? You get blessed. You have the bless spell. So don't forget +1 d4 to all your actions and attacks. And you just slide that in front of them and say, look, there you go. So that's one of my favorite tools to use at the table. I think it's super handy for so many different things. Tracking initiative, like Dragonbane style. Tracking monster health, so you don't have to waste a bunch of sheets of paper. These goblins are only going to last a round or two anyways. And you go, you know what? All right, that goblin's dead. I either literally remove it from the initiative or whatever, strike it out, erase it, do whatever. And you can, if you're an artsy person, you can say, well, this is our goblin. If you want to fight this goblin number 2, then put your icon or your mini next to him. And that shows that you're fighting that goblin, that sort of thing. So you can use it for all of the above, right? They're super handy. These were really cheap on Amazon. I will probably put a link, I think maybe even an affiliate link if I have it, to where I bought these. You can get them in all different kinds of shapes and sizes. These, like I said, were originally for Magic the Gathering. They have room to write a mana cost, or if it's a 3/3 worm creature token, whatever. But I bought these also because I didn't need more than 50 of these ever. You can get huge packs of 100, or you can get smaller packs of 20 that come with these little pins and erasers. That's the one I did because I like these actually. If I have the thing here, one of my favorite things about them is I can take one of these protective magic card sleeves. I can throw all of these in here along with my pin, and it all fits, or marker, whatever, inside of this thing. I just do it catty corner like that, and it closes, and then that goes in my backpack, and boom, there we go. Okay, so moving right along. Sometimes I just want to create a quick little random dungeon, and I'm not feeling very inspired. Maybe I'm doing a West Marches game, and it really doesn't matter, what the shape of the dungeon is. So I like to grab either my Dungeonmorph Dice Explorer set, or my deck of mini dungeons. These are things I got online. Actually, I'll have to look up and see where you can get them nowadays, and I'll put that link in the description. So these have a key. I don't know if you can see this on the back here. They have a key showing what all the different things mean. For some reason this is just not focusing. Let me try to tap it and see. Nope. Anyway, so there's a lot going on with this little set of dice. I'm going to pull them out here and just roll them. And one of my favorite things to do is you just roll them, and wherever they fall, that's how you do the room layout, right? Boom, 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 boom. Now, what I can do is either take a picture of this with my phone. That's really small, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I can either take a picture of these with my phone, or I can do a quick sketch of the parts that are important to me on a little sheet of paper. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Just draw the basic rooms that are attached. I even sometimes I'll just not draw these extra rooms, kind of a thing, that have nothing attached to them. I have a basic dungeon layout here, and then I go to one of my favorite books, like Shadow Dark or Knave, and I just roll on random monsters, and I see what I get, and I populate a fun little dungeon. Or I take these cards here, and it's the same kind of principle. Now these have a few extra rules if you really want to do almost like a solo adventure or something like that. You can decide, wow, I don't know if you guys can, I'm picking up all these sirens, but there's a lot of activity happening here. Different kinds of cards on this have different kinds of things in the rooms, quest goals at the end, things like that, different, like an entrance junction. Actually, yeah, that's fine. I'll leave it zoomed in like this because these are really fun, though. You can, same kind of idea here. Actually, I am going to zoom out. This is why this goes on my Patreon, because I ain't doing no production quality at all here. This is just getting fun ideas out to the people who want them. All right. So move this aside, and let's look here. So we have, I think I put all the aces and kings because they're like beginnings and ends of a dungeon together. But, the idea here is that you just throw a few of these out. You maybe even shuffle them up and just deal them out like this, like you're playing a game of cards. And I'm going to actually, match them up if I can. Let's say this. I don't know if that's going off screen yet. And then there's our entrance. I'm going to switch this up a little. I'm going to put this here and that there. And boom, look, I made a dungeon. It's a, 6-room dungeon? Or, with a hall. And that took me all of 30 seconds, right? A little bit of rambling. But quick, actionable, usable at the table. I'm going to adjust a little bit so you can see it better. And then I just, this was my way to quick generate some content. Maybe I'm playing a one-shot. Maybe my players sprung something on me out of nowhere and they said, we'd really love to play D&D this week and I have nothing planned. Well, I can use these dice and these cards, or neither, or both, and I can just throw them together, make something up. I can even roll what kind of monsters are on here on these cards here. I can decide if there's traps, keys, that sort of thing. And really, I can throw a dungeon together in like 20 minutes, Now, maybe that's not your style, but, this is good for in a pinch. If someone comes into town, like an old friend out of town, and you're like, you know what? I'm a huge fan of this Shadow Dark game, right? You say, I know you play a lot of D&D, but why don't you try Shadow Dark? I'll roll up some pre-gen characters before you get here. I'll throw together this quick dungeon. It'll be fun, Nothing too serious. It's not ongoing. But this is a quick way I like to roll up adventures using the deck of mini dungeons or the Dungeonmorph Dice set. There you go, folks. That's just a quick video about these two things that I like. And, of course, these cards I showed you in the beginning, the index cards. Also, Index Card RPG has their official cards that you can find on the Runehammer website. I really dig them. I think they're a good resource. I throw them out in front of my players for quick scenes when I don't need to draw out a map. Theater of the Mind type stuff that lets me track what's going on and lets my players feel grounded in the scene. So that's it. 3 quick tips on how to use some outside the box kind of stuff for quick generation and quick maps. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This has been another Daily Goblin News. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. And hopefully you have walked away with something that you like or something that you can use. Now there are tons of ways to generate things, but these are just some really fun ones to me that really get my mind thinking. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.